Mars is such a fast moving planet when it comes to wealth. It either brings a lot of spending or it brings sudden saving, almost to the level of frugality, or I should say miserly behavior. Childbirth could be a prominent thing that could be on charts for many Taurus moon as well as risings. I would recommend you, if you're planning for vacation, go for a long distance, fly far away from your hometown, from your place of residence. It is going to bring good joy for you guys, Taurus. Hi guys, welcome back to Dev Astrology. Today we are going to be doing the reading for your sign for the month of January 2025. We have done a detailed reading for all the signs, both moon as well as rising, and you can check out the annual predictions which are already posted a couple of weeks back on my channel video. So without further ado guys, you can get started with the key dates that are going to be coming into picture for the month of January. And you can watch this video both from a rising as well as moon sign perspective. So it gives you confidence to see the video in both perspectives. All right, let me share my screen and showcase what are the key dates that will impact us this month. So guys, as you guys can see on your screen here, first and foremost, Sun is currently placed in the sign of Sagittarius, and it is going to be there till the first half of the month, till Jan 13th. And then it will be going into the sign of Capricorn from Jan 14th onwards. Then you have Mercury, which is again placed in conjunction with Sun in the sign of Sagittarius itself, and it is going to be in this sign from Jan 4th, means it is going to be transiting from the sign of Scorpio for the first 3 days and then moving into the sign of Sagittarius from Jan 4th, and then it will be in Capricorn from Jan 24th onwards. You have Venus, which is currently in Aquarius, and it is going to be there until Jan 26th, and from Jan 27th it will be moving into the sign of Pisces in its sign of exaltation, and we've touched upon this in our annual videos as well, and we are going to be talking about this in depth today. Then you have Mars, which is in Cancer in retrograde movement, and it is there till Jan of 20th, and then it is going to be moving into the sign of Gemini from Jan 21st onwards, where it will continue in its retrograde motion itself. You have Jupiter currently retrograde in the sign of Taurus in Rohini Nakshatra, which is ruled by Moon. So it is continuing in the sign of Taurus itself through the course of this month, with Saturn being in Aquarius in Purv Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is the lord of Jupiter's sign. So it's going to be in Jupiter's sign now onwards itself in Aquarius. Then you have Rahu, which is in Pisces in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is ruled by Saturn. And then you have Ketu, which is in the sign of Virgo in Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra, which is ruled by Sun. So these are the key dates that are going to be impacting you for the course of this month. So Taurus, as you guys can see on your screen here, we have Jupiter sitting in retrograde in your first house in your Lagna itself. Now Jupiter is the lord of your 11th house and your 8th house sitting in Lagna in retrogression, and with this transit, he brings a lot of possibilities of gains through hidden unknown means, intention of you working towards your desires, putting in efforts in that direction and finding gains through that means as well. So it is a very auspicious and positive movement of this Jupiter, especially because he gives a very strong, strengthened aspect to your 5th house, 7th house and your 9th house. But you have to also be cognizant that in this retrograde movement, he will be impacting your house of expenses as well, and that could be a challenging position. So what I anticipate in the month of January is that through the course of this month, Jupiter will provide you opportunities to gain. It could be in terms of knowledge, it could be in terms of grasping new skills, it could be bringing in monetary, materialistic gains as well to your life, but you will be spending in energy as well. You will be making certain investments, if I may say, in those directions. It is also possible that this Jupiter might open up doors and opportunities for you for foreign connections to happen. Many people who are trying to leverage the possibilities of moving abroad, bringing in leverage for foreign connections, that is very much a probability that can come into play. And we have to also look into your Lord of 12th house as well as your Lord of 7th house, which is currently sitting in retrogression and debilitation in your 3rd house, which is Mars, and he is also going to play a critical role. Whilst this Jupiter is providing these benefic aspects from your 7th, 5th, and 9th house perspective, and I see positive gains all around. I see good career movement, support from the bosses coming into your way. I also anticipate that this Mars, which is currently in debilitation and retrogression and has been making you tad bit lazy, is going to change that as he continues to move towards the 2nd house. Yes, there has been a lot of effort going with respect to your hard work. You've been putting in fruitless amount of energy, which has not delivered the kind of outcomes you would have really hoped for. But this is going to change at least in the last week of Jan when multiple transits happen into for all these planets. Now, currently, this Mars is giving an aspect to your 6th house, to your 9th house, and to your 10th house as well. So it has been keeping you busy at workplace. You've been taking orders from your bosses, from your superiors, and slogging yourself in that direction. But as it continues in this retrograde motion and enters into the sign of Gemini into your 2nd house, you will see that there will be some sort of challenging situation initially, which is going to come from a family perspective as well. It is going to be giving an aspect to your 5th house, to your 8th house, and to your 9th house. So I will urge you to please keep check on your argumentative style, if at all Taurus you have that in you. Please keep a check on the choice of your words, because it could create damage, problematic situations for you with respect to your relationships and interactions, both at home as well as workplace. So it can be a tricky situation, and this will remain tricky until this Mars becomes progressive or direct in your in your 2nd house itself. Now, it's not at all bad news only with this Mars movement. Yes, it is going to provide you some respite as well. You could have certain activities, some sort of involvement, especially related to your kids or your spouse, which will require a lot of attention towards family. It could also bring in you spending your effort, time, and energy towards family, friend, as well as it could suddenly bump into your savings too, because Mars is such a fast moving planet when it comes to wealth. It either brings a lot of spending or it brings sudden saving, almost to the level of frugality, or I should say miserly behavior. So don't be surprised if that sort of a change in behavior comes in you. And especially I'm saying this given the fact that Jupiter's retrograded impact will dampen your 12th house as well in terms of expenses. So it's going to be a better movement coming into the 2nd house. It will bring a check into your expenses from that perspective, because 12th Lord is coming into your 2nd. So it is going to bring in expenses, but it is going to enhance your savings too. Now, Ketu and Rahu are in your 5-11 axis. Ketu's position is into the nakshatra of Sun now. It is steadily moving towards the direction of your 4th house. But sitting in here, it has been giving an aspect to your 9th, to your 11th, and to your Lagna itself. You've been a bit alienated and lonely. I would not be surprised about it. And somewhere or the other, your soul is also now desiring a lot of introspection. There could be a trigger of spirituality in you, the fact that you could be spending time in terms of getting advice from someone who you look up to as a spiritual guru. And when I say spiritual guru, guys, do not connect it from a religious standpoint. It is more so your interest towards understanding what life has in store for you and how you should be taking measures in the next few days, weeks, or months to follow. So that sort of interest inclination could be there. There's a mutual trine between Jupiter and Ketu. But I would also want you to keep a note that as you work towards fulfilling your desires, there has to be some sort of focus towards the process instead of just the desire itself, because this Ketu would expect you to do that. Now, your 8th house has presence of Mercury and Sun, who are sitting in conjunction there. Mercury is the lord of your 2nd house and your 5th house. It rules very important houses for your chart, and he's sitting in your 8th house along with Sun, who's the ruler of your 4th house. So I definitely anticipate some bit of leaning towards you trying to find gains either through the support of your in-laws, or there could be certain activities which you are trying to do in isolation, research-based mindset. I wouldn't be surprised many of you would have taken charter to go ahead and pursue further education. It could be related to PhD. It could be a higher education of some sorts coming into your life, and it is going to provide you gains as well. If you're already in that direction, it is going to bring in some positive news, especially for the student community watching this. So that's a very positive sign. If you are a parent watching, I would urge you to please take more care and proper interaction, communication with your kids, because that is something that they would be seeking and expecting from you at this point in time. This conjunction is there for the couple of week period until Jan 13, because on Jan 14th, Sun is going to be transiting into your 9th house, being the Lord of 4. That's a beautiful movement for you folks. You are going to see a shift at your workplace. You are going to see support coming in from your father, from your superiors around you. And that's going to be a positive movement. It will further incline you towards taking spiritual journeys or just trying to introspect and understand what you are doing and what sort of a direction you are heading to. That is also going to be the impact of the Sun. And Sun will slowly find this Mercury also in the last week of the month coming and getting conjoined in the 9th house itself. Now, that definitely tells us that there will be some fortune, luck that will come into play in terms of enhancing your savings, bringing some positive element to your family. Childbirth could be a prominent thing that could be on charts for many Taurus moon as well as risings watching this video. I hope you are considering this video from both aspects. If you are Taurus moon, I recommend you to watch your rising sign video as well, so as to get a more comprehensive understanding as to what is going to be panning out for you. Now, whilst your 9th house is activated, I must tell you that there will be a period where the Mars and Sun and Mercury will be bang opposite to each other. This could be a period which could demand certain long distance or even short distance travel for you. I would recommend you, if you're planning for a vacation, go for a long distance, fly far away from your hometown, from your place of residence. It is going to bring good joy for you guys, Taurus. It's going to be good for you. Now, Venus, which is your Lord, Lagna Lord himself and Lord of your 6th house as well, is sitting in your 10th house in conjunction with Saturn, and it's not at all a bad placement. I know directionally, I am not a huge fan of Venus coming into your 10th house, but the fact that Venus is in conjunction with Saturn, it is going to bring in some sort of positive news, some sort of a respectable situation within your workplace. What does it mean? It could be a possibility of you getting a promotion, some sort of pay hike, some sort of an adulation, accolades at your workplace because of your karma itself. Also, the fact that Sun and Mercury will be placed into your 9th house itself. And remember, this Venus is in conjunction with his friend Saturn, who rules not only your 9th house, but your 10th house as well. And you have been fortunate in the transit perspective, Taurus, that you are getting this sort of a support from this Saturn at this point in time. I anticipate definitely many of you who are working in professions that involve a lot of labor, a lot of human resources, people interaction and stuff, you are going to see some positive uptake. That could be mass media as well, where you are connecting with a large amount of people in your life. So I see positivity coming in from that particular angle. And I think this Venus is going to be bringing some good news as it moves into your 11th house as well, where it comes in conjunction with this Rahu. Now, Rahu, yes, he's the co-lord of 11th for you from a 10th house perspective, but he naturally enjoys his presence in the 11th. And I see some superlative gains coming in throughout this conjunction, not only in the month of Jan, in the last week where it gets transited into the 11th house, but also in the month of February. And we'll discuss that in the next reading in detail. But Venus's presence here means that your mind will be focused towards fulfilling your desires, achieving your goals, whatever ambitions you've set for yourself. Taurus, I will not be able to emphasize enough to the fact that you must prepare a target list of achievements for at least the first half of 2025. If you've not had a chance, go ahead and rewatch the Taurus detailed 2025 reading video, which I've. But I think this is an important time for you to fulfill your wishes, because your Venus is going to get into exaltation. It is going to be a very fruitful period for you, so utilize it to the fullest. Now, Rahu is already placed into your 11th house for a while. He is currently in the nakshatra of Saturn, and he is steadily moving into the sign of Aquarius itself. But whilst he is positioned there, he is going to be impacting your 5th house, 7th house, and your 3rd house as well. So there could be some additional effort that you might be putting in towards any projects that you undertake. There will be some sort of an effort that you will put towards your marriage and towards your career as well. Sorry, towards your kids as well. Now, why do I say towards marriage? Whilst Rahu's aspect, or Ketu's aspect for that matter, I do not appreciate that in coming into the 7th house itself. But the fact that he is coming in conjunction with Venus, he is going to bring in some sort of an expansion in relationships. An expansion in relationships or expansion of relationships, both are very much possible. So you have to be cognizant of that fact. Overall, I feel, Taurus, this is going to be a month where you are going to amplify your gains. You are going to find some positive movement towards your health. Your health will improve during this period. Your financial situation will definitely be on a continuous rise week after week as we proceed ahead. And most importantly, you will be able to create a good family bond as well. I would not be surprised with you guys taking vacation and traveling out with family, or just having a large get together in your family to create that happy environment. So please focus in the month of January, enjoy this period, have a great start to 2025, and that is all I wish for you from Dev Astrology. Please smash on that like button if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe to Dev Astrology, and keep watching. Om Namah Shivaya.